Hello there, and welcome to the latest instalment of our mini-series for the Premier League Retro Show. We're moving on to the midfielder section of our count of the greatest ever players to play in the Premier League that are not from England and to never finish in the top four. So, of course, we had the goalkeeper last week. The winner was 2 weeks ago. The winner was Neville Southall. We had the defender last week, and who was the winner of that one? I've forgotten off the top of my head.
Forgotten as well.
We didn't run the poll, did we?
We'll run the poll.
We didn't run the poll.
Both.
Good
It'll
start.
It'll be a fun double poll week, I think. Double poll week.
In a week of Brexit votes, we're bringing the polls into the country.
Hashtag people's vote.
Yeah, exactly. Second people's vote. Anyway, so yeah, midfielders this week. I'm just going to jump straight into it. I'll let Tom kick off.
I'm going to go for an ex-Chelsea player,
Shocks.
infamously called the water carrier during our less successful days. And it's Didier Deschamps, French World Cup winner, fantastic player, and also manager of the successful French national team as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think he was just... yes, am I doing it a bit less because of his achievements for Chelsea and more because of his general play over at Marseille and at other teams? Yes, I have to say, yes, I am. But I think he's just a fantastic player, fantastic football brain. And I think this list would be much poorer without him, to be honest.
I think that's fair enough, and it's pretty similar to my first pick, which is JJ Okocha. Again, obviously remembered for his class during his time at Bolton, but of course most fondly remembered perhaps for more widely for his time at particularly PSG, I would say. And of course the Nigeria squad where he was part of the 1996 Olympic gold winning team in Atlanta. Just some quick stats for you. He got 14 goals in 124 games, which perhaps in and of itself isn't great, and that's in the Premier League. Perhaps not great, but when you just see some of the skills that he pulled off and some of the moves that he managed to create for Bolton, you can see why he was such a class player. And even perhaps not in his prime during his Bolton Wanderers days, certainly, again, a top player. And interestingly, his only... not even major honour, just honour during his time in England was with Hull City. Do you know what that was?
No.
Was
it as a manager?
No, it's a player. The 2008 playoff final.
JJ Okocha was at Hull for that?
Yeah. I don't know if he actually played in the game, but he was certainly with the squad, yeah.
You joke?
Absolutely serious.
I can't remember. I remember the game. It was
Dean Windass. Absolute screamer, yeah.
Wow, I can't remember that.
Yeah, he was a runner-up with Bolton in the League Cup final in 2004, but obviously didn't win it. So yeah, JJ Okocha.
I feel that there's definitely a Twitter quiz in that, for sure.
Bit late for that one now, just watch the video.
JJ Okocha's only major honour. Regardless.
Only major honour in England.
Yeah, of course. If it ever comes up in a pub quiz, guys, we've got you covered. On to my second choice, and it's a bit of a controversial one, but it's definitely for his achievements in England, and it's West Ham's very own Dimitri Payet.
For all those trophies he won.
Well, he got them into Europa League, where they lost to Astra Gugu, as Dom put it on West Ham Fan TV. But he was punching well above his weight at West Ham. I mean, let's face it, he was technically fantastic. That last season at the Bowling Ground was lit up by his dazzling runs, his finishing, his long-range goals. And I think he does deserve to be on here, regardless of his Judas behaviour towards the end, skipping training. I think that's unacceptable, by the way, and I'm not condoning it. But again, I feel like I can't rationally not put him on this list. He was too good.
I can't disagree with that. I think the only thing I would say is that I don't necessarily think that leaving Marseille was an upwards move for him. But nevertheless, moving on to my final pick, which is arguably, in terms of the Premier League era, the most successful out of these four. And that is Clint Dempsey, the American. Of course, spent most of his time in the Premier League at Fulham over two spells. First of all, from 2007 to 2012, and then for, I think, a few months on loan in 2014. In between that, he spent a season at Tottenham too. Just missing out on the top four as they finished in 5th under the wonderful, wonderful AVB. So yeah, again, just some quick stats: 189 games, 50 goals for Fulham, and 7 goals in 29 games for Spurs in the Premier League. But again, perhaps the goals don't justify just how good a player he was. And again, the fact that he could transition between midfield and attack shows how versatile he was and how good he was in all those positions. And you have to feel that Fulham's success during that period, especially when they reached the Europa League final under Big Woy, shows that he actually was such an integral part of that squad that he contributed, a decent amount of goals. Perhaps it wasn't a mind-blowing amount, but a decent amount. And you might feel that spending only a season at a club of Spurs' stature maybe doesn't quite do his career justice.
Maybe not. I think I will always remember him for his time at Fulham. I have to say, I think he was fantastic. That Europa League run, I particularly liked that Fulham team in general, but he was the sort of linchpin of it. And I think if you think about it in this day and age, a team like Fulham making a Europa League final, being one game away. I know it wasn't the rule at the time, it being one game away from the Champions League with a team like Fulham. That's mind-blowing. And Dempsey, you could see when Dempsey left and around the time when Dempsey left, a lot of the other Simon Davis, people like that, when they left, Fulham went down pretty soon after. Only 3 years after. It was quite a quick decline. And it shows how important these players were,
I think it's only 2 years after, actually. They went down in 2014, so it emphasises your point even more.
So again, it really does show the importance of these players. Would they have been as bigger names in a bigger side? Obviously not. But Clint Dempsey is an interesting case that he actually brought a lot of American fans over to the Premiership as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, around that time, Fulham also had Carlos Bocanegra and Brian McBride, and I think Casey Keller even was there for a time. He's not American though.
Was he not? I thought he might have been German-American.
Yeah, I know he was German, maybe German-American. I don't know. Anyway, so they had a big American kind of cult following, and he was certainly a big factor in that. So you're absolutely right. But that is where we're going to draw this week's retro show to a close. As we said, we are going to run polls, if we remember, for last week's 4 defender choices and for this week's 4 midfielder choices. So don't forget to make your pick. We are going to be composing a 5-a-side from these players. So we're going to have the goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, forward, and a wild card. So I guess we're going to get thinking about our wild card picks over the next couple of weeks. Obviously next week, moving on to the forwards. As I said, please get voting on those polls and don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. And until tomorrow, where we will be joining you, or you'll be joining us rather, for Unpopular Opinions, it's goodbye from me and goodbye from Tom. Thanks for watching.